Hello guys, it's SHOX. I hope you are doing well. You know what we're gonna talk about, right? We're gonna talk about the Blast.tv major in Austin that is just around the corner. I actually took a nice dress, as you can see. I hope you like it because, man, the major are just so cool to follow, and there is such a really nice hype like coming with that biggest event, you know. It's actually really nice, I feel like, that we only have 2 in a year, because by having only 2 in a year, every time there is a major, you are actually getting hype for it, you know. There is always new teams coming to the major that you are not expecting, and you never know which team is actually gonna be good or gonna be bad, because the thing is, even the best teams can crumble at the major, and we saw a lot of different storylines where even the weakest team and the underdogs actually managed like to get some wins and even go, for example, to the playoffs, or even with the major of Paris where Gamer Legion went to the grand final. You know, who will have bet on that? And that's actually the good thing and the beautiful thing about the major. It's because it's so prestigious. Talking about the glory when you leave that trophy, that because it's so different and everyone wants it, that it makes actually players and team play worse or better, you know, because of the pressure, because of the environment. You know, there is like something huge, and it's actually coming. We're gonna have the first stage. So we did the pick'em last time. Don't do like me, okay? I actually failed, right? Here you can see there is Heroic. Normally Heroic is supposed to be here instead of Metisport, and Metisport is not going through. So that's my bad. I actually failed my pick'ems when I actually logged them in. So I hope you didn't do like me, and I hope you're gonna have like a really good pick'ems to try to win some good stuff, right? Now coming to that first stage, okay? We're just gonna talk about the first stage. I think the first stage is actually way more interesting than you could imagine for several reasons. The thing is, like, it's some teams that we are not used to follow that much. You know, we mostly follow like all the big teams, the top 10, top 5, top 15, sometimes top 20 world, and not that much actually. With big events, actually, CS gave us, so ESL, Blast, PGL, everything. And here we have Lean Vision, Legacy, Tyloo, Wildcard. Well, Wildcard did some T1 events, Bedboom, Energy, Tingis Warrior, OG, Nemiga, Fluxo, Metisport, which are teams that we don't follow a lot, right? We already saw playing like complex teams like Complexity, Heroic, B8, FlyQuest, yes, but still, the thing is, like, it's actually a really like competitive environment, because it's actually, the stage 1 is actually really stacked, you know, and it's really hard. It was actually really hard to do like a proper pick'ems, because since we don't follow these teams a lot and they are really like close on the level size, that you don't really know who is gonna win or not. Actually, besides some teams, I would say Complexity and Heroic, for example, are above. We also got teams like B8 and FlyQuest, Wildcard, who should be also above. But a lot of other teams, actually, you don't really know what to expect. And I think this is the most exciting thing in the stage 1, because since they are not playing against big teams like Vitality, Spirit, Falcons, where you know that this team won't beat this, for example, right? Even if in a major, you never know. But here, actually, every team can actually win a lot of matches. And I think this is the most important thing that we should actually like embrace for the first stage, is we're gonna have close matches, stack matches, which is gonna be really exciting from the viewer port. For example, we saw Legacy actually replaced Bestia last times, and the thing is, Legacy is showing like some pretty good CS, and they were actually close to take a map from Vitality, for example, you know. We have Lean Vision coming from the China MRQ that, honestly, I don't even know how they're playing, if they're that good or not, because they're playing on the Asian scene in the China MRQ, so I didn't follow the China scene that much. And it's gonna be really interesting to actually see what can they do against better teams, like for example on the European port. Also, we have Tingis Warriors, same, the Mongolia team. We have the Mongols, who is actually like in top 5 team in my opinion in the world. But who is Tingis Warriors, you know? Another Mongolian team. Are they gonna do the same as Mongols? Are they gonna be stepping up as well and actually provide us some pretty good CS? That's actually really nice, because if you look at that thing, is actually Mongolia is a really small country, not that small, but the thing is, like, a lot of people, since Mongols are actually like performing on CS, like the country actually is following CS quite a lot, you know, they are behind their teams. So it's gonna be really interesting to see if Chinggis Warriors are actually also gonna get that hype boost, and maybe it's gonna be another emerging team from Mongolia who is playing pretty good. We also have Tailu, we still don't follow them, you know, so teams from China, Tailu or Lean Vision is gonna be really interesting to follow, because these teams, you know, I always remember back in the days when I was playing and I was facing, for example, like teams like Tailu, it was always fun to play against them because we were not playing the same CS. They were playing really aggressive, for example, in the past, and they were not playing like in the European meta, let's say, you know. Same as goes as the NA versus Europe like pretty long time ago. And it's always exciting to have teams coming from another continent like that, with having their proper scene, because it can be like a meta clash with European. And even if European is supposed to be above, the thing is like when you are not used to play a team that is playing like really different, in a best of one, in ML12, you can lose. And we'll also have like the Europe team from MRQ, but these Europe teams, we don't see them a lot, you know, like they are like tier 2 teams, let's say. So you have OG, you have Bedboom, you have Meti Sports, and teams like that. Yes, they're playing a lot of events and a lot of online matches, but actually it's been quite some times we didn't follow them. So it's gonna be also interesting to see like how good they are. I think the biggest thing is that stage 1 is there are a lot of players, teams that don't play the same CS. They all have their own identity, as we say, their own playbook, their own game style. And I believe this is gonna be like a really like clash between style, you know? And in my opinion, this is like the best CS to actually watch, because this is the most spectacular one. Nowadays, all the best teams in the world actually playing kind of the same CS, and it's more being better in like the preparations and T-strats, some small tactics, individual plays as well, the knowledge of it. You know, it's really small details, but overall they are playing kind of the same CS, right? These teams, usually they don't really play the same CS because they cannot play CS the way they want to and the way they love to. And it actually make games really exciting because you have like a style clash. Maybe one team is really super passive, one team is super aggressive, some team is doing stuff you didn't see for like 5 years. So talking about like how spectacular it can be, I think the stage 1 compared to a lot of people that you could see actually could be like really fire. And last thing, but not the least, is actually even teams who are not gonna pass. You know, for example, I don't really believe in Chinggis Warriors, but maybe because I never saw them play, so maybe it's gonna prove me wrong, okay? And I'm fine with that. But every team that is not gonna pass, coming, for example, like from China, coming from Mongolia, or maybe like the lowest Europe teams, actually, when you play a major, you know, I've played like 17 major, and each major actually make you, I would say, realize how hard it can be, and what are the most important things that you need to work on, and what is actually the real battlefield, you know, because even when you play other events, can be on LAN or can be online, the thing is like you don't have the same pressure, so you don't really play the same. In the major, it's kind of like you actually know what you need to work to be able to be better as the next one, for example, because sometimes you're actually playing a way that, yes, it's maybe working, but when it coming to major, it's actually not. Because the way the major are plays, because of the pressure, it's actually not the same. So you want to rely on your strengths and on tactics, stuff, team play, mental preparation, that you know that's gonna help you. And it doesn't mean that you wanna maybe like 10 matches in a row online since 3 weeks, that actually you're gonna be good in that phase, because CS is different when you are hitting a major. So what I wanted to say is actually even the teams that are not gonna go through, they're gonna actually earn a lot of experience because they're not used to play competition and event with so much pressure. And it's only like a win-win situation because they're gonna play a major, so that's insane. If you don't go further, you're gonna have so much experience. Also, thanks to the Swiss format, you can at least play 3 matches, and these matches gonna actually help you a lot about what you need to bring to the next one or what you need to improve, what are the important things and stuff like that. And for these teams, it's not only about going to the next stage. I'm not talking about complexity and heroic, for example. You know, these teams, like, they need to go to the next stage. For the other ones, I mean, a lot of other ones, actually, it's not maybe only going to the next stage. Of course, it will be insane because more match you play, more experience you win. But just going there, actually gonna make them better in the future, no matter what. So I don't know how hyped you are, guys, about that first stage. But actually, when I first, you know, let's be honest, the first time I actually look at the teams for the first stage, I was like, oh yeah, that's the first stage. Damn, can't wait for the second, the third, and the playoffs. It's gonna be really insane. Major is long. But then, when you're looking deeper into these teams, with the format, with the storylines, about every teams, actually that stage is actually hyping me up like quite a lot. Let me know what do you think about that and if you're actually sharing the same feeling. And let the major starts, guys. Let's go. Viva la France. We love Counter-Strike.